start with it. Practice starts today. We'll be able to talk about football. And that's a good thing, being able to talk about football. When we do the show tomorrow, we'll talk about Arizona State in the Pac-12, in the Big 12. We'll talk about Washington and Oregon and maybe others to the Big 10. It's all happening. It's all going down, and it's happening fast. So Monday, when we come on the air, there's a good chance that the Pac-12 doesn't exist on Monday.
What a time to be alive.
Yeah, it's not great. It's not great that college football's traditions are gone. But it's a reality, and we're practical around here. We talk a lot about the have and the have-nots, and you want to be amongst the haves. There's no doubt about that. It's an ugly world out there right now. Everybody getting to where they can make the most amount of money because that's where it's at. That's what you got to do. The network's making decisions. I think most of these decisions are made by the networks. And this is now where we find ourselves. And so Florida State's in the midst of it. Yesterday it was everywhere to the point where if you make the argument that Florida State has been on a year-long marketing campaign to reach this point, to bring this to a crescendo, to the point where everybody is talking about what's going to happen with Florida State, the ACC movement, conference realignment, etc., then you've succeeded because it started out with pretty innocuous, sort of banal tweets from the athletic director about Florida State's relevance in the national picture from a rating standpoint, where Florida State sits as a media darling and as one of the central figures in the sport. And then from there, you had the whispers of Florida State, the grumblings that Florida State was thinking about how to challenge the grant of rights. And then later on, you had stories about Florida State and their meeting that was filmed with the Board of Trustees, the first time that began the discussion again, with Florida State and basically Michael Alford and Peter Collins. And so from that point forward, it expedited to where we were this week. And now yesterday happened, and it was on every national sports show. ESPN had it. It was on SiriusXM. I did 4 different SiriusXM shows. I was on in Columbus, Ohio today with our old friend Bo Bishop. I retweeted that hit if you guys wanted to hear it. But it's Florida State is the talking point right now, along with conference realignment as a whole, because of what's happening with the Pac-12 and what's happening with the Big 12.
Have you found that you're getting attacked on behalf of FSU at all in some of these hits? Is there a terse tone, or are they just looking for information in an honest way?
They've been good. I think that the folks who cover college football and watch it and analyze it and have to talk about it or write about it on a regular basis, if they have you on, they want to glean information. They want to ask you what you're hearing from your sources in Tallahassee. They know I live and work here. They know I've covered this team for 25 years. And so if they're interviewing me from New York or Columbus or Los Angeles or Atlanta or whatever, they know that this is an opportunity to talk to a guy who's covering the team, who's talking to the athletic directors and coaches and players, et cetera. But I get where you're going, because that is a response we've seen in the collective media of the conference, certainly within the ACC. That's been interesting, right? This idea that Florida State hasn't been good at football for 5 years, why are they talking, is hilarious and so short-sighted. It is really myopic. It's very much a as of today point of view, as opposed to understanding the cachet that Florida State brings with them every time they step onto a football field, which was born out of a 40 to 50-year dominant run in the world of college football. Florida State is fortunate in that Bobby Bowden built a monster at just the right time. You can never know when that's going to be. You could be Bud Wilkinson. You could have built a monster in the 1950s, right? But it's now, right? It happened as college football came of age in the television era. Florida State is this massive entity because right as college football got popular and began to ascend, it used to be a niche sport in this country. It was, people liked it because people went to school, so they root for their schools. But it was so far behind the NFL, Major League Baseball, the NBA, hockey, tennis, you name it. It was way down the list. It's now the second most popular sport in this country, and it's close. I mean, it's very, very close to like NFL numbers on some weekends if you get a marquee matchup. Now, the NFL is dominant week to week, but if you get a marquee matchup, Alabama's playing Georgia, the country's watching. And so, because Florida State became a dominant and central figure during during college football's growth, they have this cachet. They have this polarizing effect. It's not unlike the Yankees or any number of other very powerful sports assets or entities, okay? So the ebbs and flows of competition are always going to produce good decades, good seasons, bad seasons. It's going to happen. But Notre Dame is Notre Dame. They're still going to be wildly popular because they're Notre Dame. I don't care if they go 3-9 for the next 10 years. They're still Notre Dame. It's why Nebraska and why Miami still draw the kind of attention that they do. People, you bring up Miami, people have an opinion still. Why? They haven't been relevant in 20 years. They haven't mattered at all. Because they became a dominant program right as college football became popular, not unlike Florida State. And so that's what is so short-sighted about some of these tweets and these attacks from people who say, well, try winning the conference first. Okay, whatever, dumbass. We just won a national championship 10 years ago. We just won 10 games last year. You got a Heisman candidate. You got a bunch of All-American candidates. You got a bunch of kids that are getting drafted in the first round. It's the Spear. It's Florida State. They're college football royalty, period. They are. And that pisses Wake Forest and Louisville and whomever else off because they're not. And they never will be. Not in our lifetimes. And so you get a lot of this. You get a lot of the backlash, well, screw you. Maybe the ACC wouldn't be in such trouble if Florida State had been better more often. Okay, well, we won 3 national championships since we came to the conference. Just go to hell.
That grant of rights was extended in 2016. I believe we were doing pretty well leading up to that 2016 signing. Now, we shouldn't have signed it, but if you're talking about maximum value, what we did the early part of last decade, 29 straight, national championship, a berth in the first college football playoff. I mean, we shouldn't have to justify Florida State's bona fides. We all know what they are, and so do they. That's the other thing. It's disingenuous. So do these other members of the media that are tweeting out about Florida State's record in the conference the last 5 and 6 years. They know it too. They know it too.
Of course they do.
They're lying to themselves and or they're scared. It could be because they're going to cover an irrelevant conference, completely irrelevant, because anything relevant within the conference is leaving. It's gone.
Yeah. Well, that is correct. It's a chance to take pot shots. I get it. That's fine. I don't care if you like, hate, indifferent, whatever you are about Florida State. There's no denying the facts. The numbers are the numbers. It's not my opinion. It's not an opinion.
No, it's not about putting on garnet and gold colors and rooting for your school. It's just, this is the empirical data.
Right.
Florida State's budget beyond the ratings is top 5 in either the Big Ten or the SEC. Correct. Right here today.
Yeah.
Yeah. Operating at a 7-figure, 8-figure deficit. 8-figure, excuse me.
Yeah, there's no doubt, Tom. This is, and again, this is an easy discussion to have when I go on these shows if it comes up. You know, all you have to do is cite the record, cite the numbers, look at the television ratings, look at the asset that Florida State is. It's not a question of will Florida State have a spot to land. It's where and it's when. That's all it is. Florida State is a massive get for anybody that brings them in.
Right. There was an attributed anonymous quote to an athletic director, I think Andrew Carter from North Carolina, formerly in the Florida State circles. Mm-hmm. The athletic director said that Florida State could become San Diego State, right? The new SDSU.
Sure.
Irrelevant.
Okay.
Well, if that's the case, then go ahead.
Then let us leave.
Let us leave.
What do you care?
You don't even need our money.
What do you care? We're just San Diego State. What do you care?
We're holding you back.
Yeah.
So just let us walk.
It's a dumb comment. It's an asinine comment. It's not a comment that he believes.
No.
It's not.
Well, that's why the athletic director didn't put their name to it.
Of course not.
But if we're such a problem because of the losing, then just let us walk. I'm sure you guys will be better for it. Let's see how that goes.
The level of vitriol and the amount of people that have pushed back on this is sort of akin to the person being rejected in a relationship. You know, it's almost like there's pain in their heart of hearts that they're not wanted. They're not loved. They're not needed. It's hurt. It hurts. If you've ever been broken up with, it hurts. I have. We all have. It hurts. That's a real rejection. Like somebody saying, you're not what I want. Oh, man. It's you have to go home and think about some things. I mean, you got to look in the mirror.
Well, and it truly is a divorce because there's going to be a settlement and you'll get half. But you know what? You've been living off of my bank account for years.
Yeah.
So I'm going to pay you this one last time, maybe, unless we can find some other pieces to this case to allow me to walk out scot-free. But you're going to get one more check, and then you're going to thank me for all the money I got you before today and today when I write you the check. Because I'm giving you no more money.
Yeah, that's it. We're done.
That's all been off the work that I've done in this relationship.
Well, listen, I get it. I get some of the frustrations. If you went to a school, root for a team, live in a town where the college is the thing, and colleges are in, small towns. So it is your life. It is your backyard. It is the thing you care passionately about. If you went to that school, cover that school, whatever, live in that area. And so it hurts to be rejected. It hurts to have somebody go, well, that's nice. You're a cute school. It's great. But we're going to move on. And it's not, to me, I know how that sounds. It sounds condescending. And I don't mean it to be. That's the reality of that situation.
It's not like these universities are going to close their doors. They're going to continue on their academic mission. They're just not going to be playing with the big boys in sports. What's so hard about that? Continue your academic mission. As Jim Phillips has talked about glowingly last week in Charlotte, the ACC standing academically is as good as any other Power 5 conference. That's great. So then your primary mission as a university can still be fulfilled, even without us having a relationship together, right? Because isn't that what it's about first? If it's about the kids and about the students, you guys will be fine. But we are defining, via our own board of trustees meeting, that athletics matters greatly to us. So much so that if we've got to go to court with you, it sounds like they want to do it. Sounds like. But they got to go ahead and vote that and do that themselves.
Z-Chan, thanks so much, brother. Man alive. That's kind. And thanks to all of you who are watching and listening. We greatly appreciate it.
Holy Jesus.
The amount of coverage provided recently by the Warchant staff is second to none. Love you guys. It's a great day to be a Knoll. Thanks, Z-Chan. Appreciate you very, very much. That's awfully kind of you to say. We're trying, man. We're trying. It's been a busy time, but a good time and a fun time. It's a great thing to be able to document all of this for my fellow Knolls and for people who love college football and people who care about the overall landscape of the game and all of that. It's going to be a fun season to get to do this job. I'm always thankful and grateful that we get to do what we do for a living. It's there's not really a week that goes by where at some point I don't think this is awesome. I have been doing what I would have done already my whole life and getting paid for it. This is amazing.
This also, I understand the seriousness of the way that needed to be covered 10 years ago. But this reminds me of the Jameis situation in that when we're done, when you hang up the cans and you're on the beach and you're retired, this one is going to come up and come to memory pretty quickly. There would be working through the pandemic, the Jameis situation where the eyes and ears of ESPN, they were patched into our broadcast equipment every day.
Every day, yeah.
That was strange. And then now,
it was like the FBI. You could hear them.
You could hear them.
I
could see the modulation on their systems.
Yeah, it was crazy.
They didn't even ask permission. I was like, what is that code?
They're just listening to us.
Oh, my God.
And I'd get home and somebody would be like, you were on SportsCenter today. What? I was? Yeah, they played a whole clip
They
from your
pulled
show.
the audio. That's in the broadcast agreement.
Yeah.
They can have it.
Yeah, that was funny. Melissa asks, Jeff, in any of the hits you did today, were you asked where Clemson is in this fight with us, if they even are? I was not. I've been, maybe in an ancillary way, that question has come up on some of the hits I've done. Who else is with Florida State, plural? And you can certainly cite the ones that were cited, what was that, a month, when they were in Amelia Island.
Magnificent Seven.
Yeah, the Magnificent Seven. You can cite that group of teams that are upset. I know nationally when Florida State came up yesterday on ESPN and they were talked about, at least in terms of what the president and what the athletic director and what the chairman of the board had to say, they mentioned that Florida State was not alone in their frustrations. They specifically said North Carolina, Clemson, Miami. I think they said Virginia Tech and a couple of others.
Probably Virginia too.
Yeah.
They're more valuable than Tech at this point. But
well, very much so.
You've got potentially, these institutions within the state. We know how it works here in Tallahassee, being in the capital city. Things move faster in the legislation when Florida and Florida State alum want to work together on the Hill here.
Yeah, imagine that.
The same way I think with NC State, North Carolina, Virginia Tech.
Yeah.
Now, this guy is what he is. We all know what he is. But did you see what Feinbaum?
Yeah. Oh, suddenly Florida State has a landing spot in the SEC. Yeah, man, we knew that already.
Sounds like
why?
He's getting out in front of it.
Well, somebody told him.
Correct.
Yeah, somebody called him and said, "Hey, dumbass."
Well, he let it slip. He said, "Now Greg Sankey can't say anything," which, whoops. Yeah.
Which is code for I just talked to Greg Sankey today.
Right. This is 2 months after he said Florida State is not as attractive as they think they are to the SEC.
Of course, because that's what you do when you're a troll.
Agreed. Which is, we know what he is, but it is that
it is
guy.
News. It is news.
That guy says that thing is noteworthy on ESPN's platforms. We all know what's going on here.
Of course. And I think, again, I believe that more than what we talk about with an athletic director, a president, a board of trustees chairman, a coach, a player, a fan base, a city, a conference head, it's the networks, man. It's the networks. It's not those guys. The networks are fighting over the valuable assets of college football as traditions fade and it becomes professional sports. And so what will grant you the largest television contract? What assets would allow you to do that? And no, that is Fox, that is ESPN, and others who are getting into the game dictating the terms.
Yeah, NBC wanted to upgrade from the Notre Dame package to primetime Big Ten football. Okay, I like getting involved in that. They're splitting up, they're dividing, they're conquering. And one of the important things in the history of this round of realignment, I continue to believe, is when Texas and Oklahoma were able to move sooner to ESPN, because it meant that Fox and ESPN are capable of picking up the phone and talking to each other. Of course they are. We know that. But sometimes when companies have rivalries like this and they're trying to build up their armament, they just go cold. See Florida State and ESPN recently. By all accounts, we weren't picking up the phone when the 4-letter was calling. But it's important that the networks are willing to talk to each other, because that means there's a greater puppet master game going on behind the scenes. And it's a healthy one.
It stands to reason. A lot of times when you watch an issue debated, any issue that involves massive sums of money, okay, there is a puppeteer, there is a master, there is somebody controlling the result. It's not conspiratorial. There's somebody controlling that. It's those, you follow the money, it's real. So we can get caught up in, this is what ESPN does with their stupid television show about, where teams rank. The committee ranks somebody. Okay, right?
We'll have to pay attention to that this year, I think.
I guess. But, the whole thing, that's all engineered for ratings. It is what it is. You kind of just roll your eyes at it. It's nonsense. I don't even watch it. Most people don't anymore once they figured out what was going on. But that's the game, right? There's a game being played with that. And there's a game being played here. A very serious one that affects people's lives. It affects the game. It affects future earnings. It affects coaches' salaries, facilities, arms races, all of it. It's a very serious game to pay attention to. And people want to embrace the traditions that are waning, that are fading, that are going away. You see it all the time. You see it in politics. You see it all the time. People are like, can't accept that things have changed. They don't like it. People don't like change. Now, I will agree with those people that say, I'm going to miss what college football was, or the illusion of what college football was. Yeah, me too. I liked having different conferences and different regions of the country represent different ways of playing the game and different fan bases and different traditions. It's what made college football unique. It's what made college football different from the NFL. Completely agree. But if you're pragmatic and you understand that there's no going back, then you better get with the getting, as I say. You better find a way to the money trough and move on, big shooter, because that's where we're at. Now, people might choose to not watch the game. They might. More likely, they're going to watch the game.
Yeah, they're going to watch the game unless football itself is somehow usurped by something else, a different sport. And you can live in that world where college football is what it was, and you can live in that neighborhood. You know who's going to be your neighbor? Jim Phillips. Jim Phillips will be your neighbor in that neighborhood.
And you guys can celebrate the day they come once a week to pick up the trash. And dream of the gated communities beyond the hill that house Florida State, Michigan, Ohio State, Alabama, Southern Cal, Texas, and Oklahoma, right? Have a big conversation about how well Marshall played yesterday. It's the Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
This is Kyle, service manager from Barano Heating and Air. Schedule an appointment from your mobile device to learn about our Total Comfort Service Program. With guaranteed same-day service, 15% off necessary repairs, and $25 berry bucks to use towards air filters and other products. Turn to the experts at Carrier and Barano Heating and Air. Any day, anytime, anywhere. Online at baranoac.com.
Florida license CAC 1816-186.
Does your knee pain keep getting worse? How about that pain in your shoulder, your hip, or your back? Don't let them tell you that steroids and surgery are your only option. Take my advice and call QC Kinetics. Hey, everybody, it's Greg Tish. QC Kinetics can make that pain go away with all-natural, advanced, regenerative medicine. They're helping people here every day with these amazing natural treatments that restore and repair damaged joint tissue. It's like turning back the clock. Regenerative medicine uses concentrated healing agents from your own body to stimulate that damaged tissue in your joints so they can work like they're supposed to. And there's zero downtime. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in this exciting medical breakthrough. Patients here are getting long-lasting relief, and they're saying no to surgery and drugs. If you have pain due to injury or arthritis, this is a remarkable option that you need to check out. And the consultation is free. Call QC Kinetics now. 850-391-4280. 850-391-4280. That's 850-391-4280.
Discover seasonal sensations full of passion and flavor at Café de Martín and El Bar, a one-of-a-kind culinary and cocktail concept created by classically trained chef Martín Araujo. This summer, escape to your own Peruvian paradise in the capital city and experience handcrafted, colorful, refreshing cocktails like the Chilcano de Maracuyá, made with authentic pisco, mixed with lime juice, passion fruit, a splash of ginger ale, and bitters. Or enjoy a classic pisco sour made from grapes produced in the nutrient-rich lands of Peru. At Café de Martín and El Bar, everything is handmade from fresh ingredients con amor y pasión, with love and passion. From the moment you open the doors, you're immersed in the culture and transported to Tallahassee's only upscale Peruvian culinary experience, full of surprises with every dish and every drink. It's Café de Martín and El Bar on Capitol Circle Northeast in the Esposito Shopping Center. Open Monday through Saturday for lunch, happy hour, and dinner. Online at cafedemartin.com.
A cup of Joe, Java, brew, go-go beans, brain water, liquid lightning, wakey juice, whatever you call your cup of coffee, you're missing out if it's not Grassroots Coffee. At grassrootscoffee.com, you'll find an easy way to order the best roasted coffee beans available. It's very simple. Choose the blend you want and how you want it ground, and the bag you receive will have the date your beans were roasted and packaged on it, all written by hand and signed by the roast master himself. You'll know that's as fresh as it gets. You can get Grassroots outside of your house also at some of your favorite restaurants in town. Next time you're out to eat, try asking for Grassroots Coffee by name, because there's a good chance they will have it for you. And if you own a business, Grassroots Coffee has options to stock your break rooms with all the productivity powder your team needs. Plus, like some other options that you'll find at work, Grassroots Coffee actually is a part of our community. Hit to grassrootscoffee.com today and get yourself a treat. Some locally owned, locally roasted, and locally loved Grassroots Coffee.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
Welcome back to the Jeff Cameron Show, sponsored by Legendary Home Loans, a mortgage experience designed around speed, simplicity, and customer service. Before you buy your next home, contact our friend Shannon Young with Legendary Home Loans. Visit FSUhomeloans.com. FSUHomeLoans.com.
I'm going to say it again. We'll be at football practice today. Isn't that great? There is the matter of football. There is the matter of the actual football to be played, the games to be played. Florida State picked a really good time to put their best foot forward, meaning they picked a good time to stop sucking. If you're certainly trying to make yourself attractive, it helps to get your life together, get in shape, eat the right things, work out, look good, read a book, get enough sleep. Do yourself the honor of being your best self. Florida State's best self is national championship contending. That's when they're operating, as I like to say, at peak efficiency. And when they're operating at peak efficiency, unlike Wake Forest, Florida State can play for national titles. And let's see if we get another step closer this year to being that thing, that entity, that peak efficiency. It's a different challenge for Mike Norvell. It's a different challenge for this team this year than a year ago. Last year, sort of the edict, last year, the marching orders from us as fans read, please stop sucking. That's all it was. He slipped him a piece of paper at practice and said, that's it, Mike. The fans wanted me to pass this message along to you. Please stop sucking. 5-7 or 3-win seasons are not getting it done. I can't stand this. Make it stop. That was it. That was it. And he did. He did. Not only did he, they were better than people thought they were going to be. Outkicked the coverage, did even better than people thought. Became nationally recognized as a program going places again, which led to these offseason expectations, which are now great. You go from that's a bad football program with a fractured locker room and not a lot of talent, rudderless, wayward, awful, to, man, they may have 12 guys drafted this year. They won 10 games a year ago. They have a Heisman candidate at quarterback. They should compete to win the ACC. One good season did that. Now, in truth, as we all know, the work behind the scenes was building to that one good season. There was a lot more to it than just the one good season. But the one good season is why nationally Florida State is talked about. It's why Florida State is thought of as a legitimate contender to win the national championship. This is a debate amongst all of us. How many teams at the beginning of any season truly have a shot to win a national title? I will tell you that a year ago, I was stunned by the answer. I typically am much more pessimistic. I don't mean about us. I mean about teams that have a legitimate shot to win a national title. Tom usually would say probably one or two more teams than I would. I don't know, whoever it is you're having the discussion with might say 4 or 5 or 6 teams more than I would. I usually look at any given season and say, it's about 3, maybe 4 teams. And for a long time, I said, and I argued, that's bad for the sport. A lack of real competition at the top end is not good. For years, it was the bane of women's college basketball. There were 2 good teams and everybody else was ass. Everybody else you looked at could be beaten by 4 bums at the Y. But now you look at women's college basketball, and the reason it's better is not only the quality of play is better, the women are getting better because there's a lot more of them at a young age playing basketball because it's the opportunity to play professional basketball. Like, that's a thing now. It wasn't when I was growing up. And so now you see the quality of play is better. There's 10 to 12 teams that are pretty good in college basketball in a given year. I still don't watch women's basketball. I think it sucks, but lots of other people disagree with me. Good for them. And I will admit that in the tournament, more than 2 teams, more than UConn, can win it. And that's good because you want competitive balance. College football was getting in a bad place. It was pretty much Alabama, and Alabama, sprinkled in with a little LSU, and occasionally an Ohio State. That was kind of it. We were really looking at a dark place. Any given year, you might find 1 or 2 other teams. Somebody has to go to the playoffs. Somebody's got to get their ass kicked by Alabama. So Clemson stepped up big time. That was good. Florida State did briefly too. Last year, TCU getting to the national championship game was a revelation. They weren't even picked to finish in the top 3 of their conference, which isn't a good conference. So that was kind of amazing, right? That was like, oh, okay, good for you, college football. Now, I'll grant you, when they got there and they had their opportunity, they got beat by 400 points. And they were never competitive. It was over in 5 minutes.
But they got there.
And that was a team you would have never picked to get there. It was amazing, right? Amazing.
You had to win a playoff game to do it.
Yeah, beat Michigan. So good on you. That was great. It showed that maybe that list of teams is a little bit deeper. And so I'd put Florida State on the list of teams. I don't think Florida State's going to win the national championship. I'd be somewhat surprised at Florida State, somewhat, not a lot, not very, not aghast, not shocked, but I'd be somewhat surprised if they make the college football playoff this year. I think I would be. For all of the confidence I have in this offense to be elite, I'm still not there with the defense. So I'm still in a show me mode with the defense. I think all the pressure this year is on the defense. Adam Fuller, Randy Shannon, those guys have got to show up. They got to produce. It's got to be a good season for this defense, or else we need to be looking for other coaches on that side of the ball, especially because neither of them are good recruiters. So that's an important thing, and we'll see. Maybe they get there. They might. And I would say that if I issue that challenge and state that publicly, that's not a way of me saying they won't do it. I'm not saying they can't do it. I think they have the ingredients to do it. I think they could step up tremendously, and then that question is answered. And all of a sudden, you feel very good about where we're at for the next 5 years, really. All of a sudden, you're thinking, well, they're recruiting on a whole new level. These guys on game day proved they could do it. The defense got better every year, that kind of thing. You're having a very different discussion. How many teams do you think can win the national championship?
First blush, more than in a typical year because there's a lot of quarterback turnover at the top. So you've got your usual suspects. That's Ohio State, Clemson, Alabama, Georgia. That's no particular order because Georgia would be at the top. We're in the conversation this year, 100%. And I don't know what to make of the rest of the top 10. If this was a year in which Bryce Young was coming back and several other quarterbacks that were Heisman caliber were coming back to Ohio State, Stetson Bennett was returning to Georgia, then maybe I wouldn't entertain the discussion that it could go 6 or 8 deep. But TCU's example has to give you pause, as you said. So you've got to allow for the possibility of a 4th team coming out of nowhere to be a college football playoff participant. I've delayed long enough, maybe 6 or 7. I can't name them all, though, because I think it's more of an open field this year.
Last year's top 10 at the end of the season, after that thorough ass kicking that Georgia laid on TCU, read as such. It was Georgia, TCU, Michigan, Ohio State, Alabama, Tennessee, Penn State, Washington, Tulane, and Utah.
Mm-hmm.
Tulane, get the hell out
Penn
of
State, Michigan. I mean, the Big Ten could produce 3 different playoff teams this year, which is not typical for the Big Ten. That's a recent thing. So good for them. I think they're getting rid of the divisions in the near future. I don't know if this is the first year of that, but they could produce 3 different teams. Could make it in that one Big Ten spot, maybe 2 if all the chips fall right. Georgia, absolutely. Alabama, absolutely. Tennessee is intriguing to me.
Fun team.
Because you're going to find out if the offense was a Hendon Hooker thing or is it
Nah, they're good.
a Heupel thing?
Yeah, I think it's a Heupel thing, man.
Yeah.
I think it's a Heupel thing. Remember, for lest we forget, they pasted Clemson. And there's a lot. I know they lost a lot. I know they lost a lot of talent, but they pasted Clemson last year. And I think that's a team that's pretty fun. I think Tennessee will be a good team.
They are. I see USC in the chat. That's fair if they can play defense.
But they never do. Riley never does.
They had 2 cracks at Utah, who they should wipe the floor with if they could play replacement level defense. Replacement level. But they can't.
People need to stop sleeping on Utah. It's my squad.
You think they can make the playoff? What a story that would be.
Utah pisses me off because they're good enough to beat Southern Cal, badly. Like, dominate them. Mm-hmm. And then they're capable of losing to Florida. Come on, man. So,
but that's even more of an indictment on USC.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Yeah. But I'll give Utah a lot of credit, man. They're good every year. That's a good coach. That's a good program. And now they're going to be a Big 12 program. Pac-12's like, thanks for coming over and kicking all of our asses for a few years. Sorry we couldn't stay open.
Is that right, though? Utah would be a part of the fray?
Well, if the Pac-12 goes away, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, they would.
Is the most staunch Pac-12 defender as of, 24 hours ago.
What can they do? They just joined the conference, and they're winning it every year. They're going to be like, what do we like it here? This is great.
Where are you going, guys?
Stop. This party's just getting started, everybody. Sorry, we've been mismanaged for years. We got to close our doors. The food's good, though. It is good, but people aren't showing up. It's Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Your local news now.
Florida is preparing to execute a man convicted of strangling his wife and brutally murdering another woman years earlier. James Phillip Barnes, age 61, is scheduled to die by lethal injection at 6 p.m. Thursday at Florida State Prison in Stark. He would be the 5th person put to death in the state this year. The Florida Supreme Court accepted the ruling, noting last week that no other motion seeking a stay of execution for Barnes had been filed in state or federal court. New rules have rolled out to keep golf carts safe. Governor Ron DeSantis signed a law requiring drivers of golf carts to be over the age of 18 or with a valid driver's license. If you're under 18, you can still drive a golf cart if you have a valid learner's permit or driver's license. The bill also bars adults from legally operating golf carts if they don't have government-issued identification. A violation of the law would include a non-criminal traffic infraction. The bill goes into effect October 1st. This is Rachel Lene with your Real Talk 93.3 local news update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at MacklemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. Chance for scattered storms this afternoon. Otherwise, a mix of clouds and sun. Highs level off around 94. Winds out of the southeast, 5 to 10 miles per hour. Partly cloudy skies tonight. Chance for scattered thunderstorms. Lows dip down to about 76. A blend of clouds and sun tomorrow. Chance for scattered thunderstorms. Daytime highs approaching 94. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, 92.
Widden Glass has been taking care of business since 1945. When you call Widden Glass, you're dealing with experienced, reliable professionals who offer only the best. Like Widden's top-of-the-line bath enclosures that provide style and luxury at an affordable price. Eye-catching storefronts are a specialty at Widden Glass. We'll help you design it and install it. Widden Glass, the first name in glass replacement. Call 222-5781.
My man Eddie.
Jeff, what's happening, dude?
Bears eating people all over the place. I read another article today. It's the third one in the last month of somebody getting mauled to death by a bear.
Man, bears have their own space. You got to let them have that.
You do. You got to stay clear of bears is what you're saying.
Yes.
I got a question for you. Here you go. If you had to be mauled to death, eaten alive by any animal in the world, which would you choose to eat you alive?
Ooh, I think maybe I'd want, longevity time, a mouse.
Just a slow burn.
Slow burn.
This thing just finished the pinky. It's been a month.
I could go to work. I could still do my thing. I could probably live 30 years.
I thought you were going to say great white because it'd be quick, or a grizzly. We went with mouse.
Yeah, mouse.
Okay. Mouse it is. Gordo's bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
The Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness. 2 Tallahassee locations, Midtown on Thomasville Road and Northside in the Village Common Shopping Center. Online at orangetheoryfitness.com.
Window, and voila, sound went away.
Hey, by the way, one negative to football starting is I have 15 emails about a fantasy football league that I hate. I kind of think I hate fantasy football. Because I don't have time.
It's the time thing.
It's the time. It's not the people. Well, in some of the leagues, it's the people. Some of the leagues.
The people.
There's a lot of leagues, man. And when fantasy football was the thing that everybody did, I jumped in. Both feet. Let's go. Let's do this. I like to gamble. I'm in. And then, like years later, you just play in these leagues because you always did. And you're kind of like, sure, no, I guess I'll do it again. When's our draft? Really? So Wednesday at midnight? What? Who's up at midnight? So there it is, right? That happens, and you're kind of like, I guess I got to do it. I don't even remember this guy, Steve. Am I friends with this guy? Who is Steve? Anybody know Steve?
This is a natural part of life, though. It's like donating clothes that might have gotten too small on your boys.
Right.
You can't hand me down. There's nobody else to hand it down to, so you bring those to the shelter. Or you clear out your garage with maybe a chair that you haven't used in a long time.
Yeah, maybe.
And it's just this purge. I think there's a cycle with fantasy football where that happens for everybody.
You got to purge your leagues.
So whittle it down to a league or two. I've been in one since 2001. I'm not leaving that league.
No, I'm in a league that I love. There is a league that I love. Former producer extraordinaire Matt Millar is in that league. It's a great league. Mutual friends. Bob, Joey, Steve, all these guys that we like, they're all in that league. That's fine.
Former sponsor is in that league.
Yeah, I'll always be in that league. Big fan of that league. That's fine. That's the league. That's my league. All right. But the rest of the leagues, I'm thinking a purge is coming. I may have to make that call.
It's a time crunch because if you're going to do it right, you got to spend the time. That's the thing.
Well, what happens, though, what I don't like is that you say yes to all these leagues because you're like, it's fun once you're in it and you're doing all these things. It's great.
It's not.
But then, but then the problem is you don't give it your all because that's not the league that you love. The one league you love, you're prepping for. You're locked in. You're like, oh, he got traded. That's right. He's going to be in. Hackett's offense is a good. Okay, I like it.
Yeah.
You start doing that, right? But all the other leagues, you really don't pay attention. You're like, who's best available here? Okay, I'll take so-and-so. And you're like, he kind of sucks. Why did I do that? I'm going to lose money in this league. This is dumb.
Right, and we all know the guy, and we've all been the guy, I believe, who said, well, in my other league, it's like, this isn't good news for me, but you know what? In my other league, that is good news because I do have Julio Jones. That's what it was about 5-6 years ago for me when Julio was taking the Bucs to task, and I'm thinking, oh, that's awesome because you're just so conflicted.
Winning, but yeah.
And then in my other league, my opponent has Julio. So I'm like, so what am I supposed to make of this? He's killing my team. I'm mad. The league I care about, he's going off for 60 points in the first half. Good news. And then the higher money league that I don't care as much about, he's going for 42 against me.
Yeah, no, I'm going to eliminate all the other leagues. I actually, one of the leagues I'm in, I won the day, or I think finished second, in the money. And I don't even like that league. I mean, I don't even pay attention to it.
This is where straight gambling on the games.
That's right. Betting on the games, man.
Easier. Wait, how about totals? Mike Evans, over under 68.5 yards receiving. Oh, he's playing the Saints. I'm going under.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Simple.
Briley, it's kind of the people, Jeff. You'd play all the leagues if there were no people to inconvenience you. person keeps asking me things.
It's the cold sweat the morning after Florida State plays an 8 p.m. kick. You're shaking off the cobwebs. You're spending time with the family, doing whatever you need to do Sunday morning. And, you're 5 minutes until roster freeze. You go, oh, my God. And then your cell signal doesn't work because you're in the car.
I can't get this to pull up.
It's just too much.
What do you need? You need my login. I've always been logged in. Why?
Right.
What is my code?
Right.
Yeah.
There's the roster freeze. There's my 0.
Mm-hmm.
Glad I didn't switch my kicker.
Gonna take an ass kicking here. Yeah, so that's the one negative of football starting. That's it. That's the only one I could find. I was trying to think of them. I was like, what negatives are there? I'm busy, really busy. That's okay. That's good kind of busy. I don't like having to be somewhere doing something every second of every day that happens in football, which we do, but I love my job, so that's just the way it works. Then I thought, well, what else? And then I was, fantasy football. I'm in a lot of leagues I don't care for.
It used to be when I opened up the app, or in the original days, go to the website, cbssportsline.com, to go look at my fantasy team. As the page is loading, you're like,
let's see what happens.
Now it's on College Football Saturday. We're doing a pregame show. Might be 5 o'clock. Hey, wait a minute. 3:30 window started. What's going on at halftime? Got a couple first half numbers. Got a couple. And that loading screen gives me the same joy that the CBS Sports Line used to all those years ago.
I like to pick up my phone and then pull up my bookie and say, I'm going to bet $400 on Ohio State today. And when I hit send, I feel a little something. I feel alive.
Should I have done that?
No, I never do that.
You know what?
I always go, yes.
You never have the momentary, you know what? Yeah.
Oh, you're going to do it. You're going to do it like a man, and you're going to send that in because you know that's the right pick.
I don't know if there still is this style. I think I ask this question every year, and the chat probably knows. You remember smallworld.com? It's my favorite fantasy sports source. This was AOL 1.0.
I don't remember it at all.
So you draft players under a salary cap to start the league, and every week their stock goes up or down. Their value goes up or down. So you got in under the number, but then your players either become more valuable or less valuable.
Yeah.
And then that's what you can do to spin with free agency.
That's pretty cool.
You've either lost money or made money.
I like that system.
Yeah.
I think I would have probably embraced that one. I would have been, okay, I'm in on this. I like this. I was in a very complicated baseball league. We got credit for holds and everything else. It was like a big to-do. Yeah, I mean, it was a big to-do.
WOBA.
Yeah, I mean, there were serious numbers to look at here. It just became too much.
That was the big one that you and director every once in a while.
Yeah, I needed his help because I didn't have time, and I know he's locked into baseball all the time. I love baseball too, but he really, really watches it. And I was like, okay, well, I need some help on some of these middle relievers.
Yeah.
I don't know who these.
Baseball fantasy is crack, man, and that is the crack.
If I didn't have a job
fantasy.
or kids, yeah, I'd be all in on some fantasy baseball.
I don't mean crack is good. I'm saying crack is whack.
No,
it's not good.
Well, no, some good.
It's like Wednesday, and you're like, oh, look at that. They're calling up their I'm
you got to
fourth
jump
on the waiver list.
You got to jump on it quick.
Every damn day.
The highlight of my baseball fantasy was grabbing Mike Trout at 12:37 a.m. Finding out that he was being called up, Director Matthew texting me, and then me getting on the screen before any of the other guys in my league because they're asleep. They're all older than me. You stupid sons of bitches. I got him. I was like, get you some. They awoke to the news that this guy had stolen Mike Trout from underneath their noses.
So,
and dropped some bum to bring him up.
The one thing is, you recall this as we were on our way to New Orleans last year. We stopped over to Sportsbook in Mississippi.
We did. Imagine that. We stopped at a sports book together.
Somebody
to gamble.
Fell into my chair because she was overserved at the slot machines.
Blitz. That woman was done dealing.
But do you remember when I was live wagering? Because I see P. Simpson says it's not for the softies. That's right. Live wagering is that's for the grown men.
Yeah, you got to buck up.
The guy butchered it twice at the register. Do you remember that? I tried to get a number, and he couldn't understand something basic.
That was weird. You work at a betting establishment, sir. This is what people come here to do, to gamble all the ways one can gamble. They do it here because it's legal. And now my man is standing across from you asking for a very simple bet.
It was Penn State and I forget who.
That was a crazy game. That's when the quarterback for Penn State sucked.
It was Clifford.
Again.
Was it West Virginia?
Clifford.
I forget who.
They lost the game because of Clifford. Oh, no, they came back and won the game. But they didn't cover because Clifford's a bum and he threw like 6 picks.
But the guy gave me a team total instead of game total on the live. My man, I want the live. And basically the explanation he gave me was too bad.
No, you were like, no. No. Too bad. Nothing.
So it stuck, but the ticket hit. So when we were done,
Yeah.
I walked up there and I gave him a death stare and I said, I'll take my money.
Yeah. And by the way, you screwed this up.
Right.
Thankfully.
And he goes, I guess you got the right thing. I said, no, I would have hit it in the third quarter if you gave me the team over, the game over. But sure.
B. Simpson, never check except line changes. You will get boned. Whoa. Oh, I love it. I love it. It's that time of year. The heavy season commences. Now, it's hard to remember that we're entering into the heavy season, everybody. Make sure you get over to Orange Theory Fitness and get your workout on daily because this is heavy season. You're going to need to hit that treadmill. You're going to hit the rower. You're going to need to do all this because it's out of your control. I don't blame you. You have an addiction. It's not your fault. It's in your genes. The weather begins to change. The football is on. The beer is cold. The food is delicious. There are a lot of park your ass days out there.
Even if they're not, they are.
That's right. Hour number 2 forthcoming. Stay with.
Attention radio listeners, this is a Foodies Takeout and Delivery new restaurant alert. Now available for takeout and delivery from foodiestakeout.com. The Hawthorne Bistro, Jerry's Love on a Plate, Coach's Pizza, Munchie's Pizza, Red Eye Coffee, Lofty Pursuits, OG Subs, Dave's Pizza Garage, Sakura Sushi, and many more. Find a complete list of locally owned restaurants offering takeout and delivery at foodiestakeout.com. That's foodiestakeout.com. Don't just shop local, order local.
Someone who thought texting was a better idea than stopping for a traffic light slams into your rear bumper. Now your back is injured and you've got to be at work and rehab all without a car. I'm Dana Brooks of Basic Brooks Law Offices, and we hear stories like this every day. You shouldn't pay for someone else's mistake. Call us at 850-777-7777 and we'll make sure you come back stronger.
Hello, Leon County. Let's get ready to win with Ken. I'm Ken Preston. I want to be your next Leon County property appraiser. I'm driven, committed, experienced, and a dedicated community servant. I'm ready to put my experience as a former property appraiser to work to help make a difference for the people of Leon County. Let's go to work. Vote for me. Ken Preston for Leon County Property Appraiser 2024. Win with Ken. A political advertisement by Ken Preston for Leon County Property Appraiser.
Honey, I just got a text from Dave. He wants us to come over for a barbecue. What's our excuse for not going?
Oh, no need for an excuse anymore because Dave got a new grill from Hearth and Patio.
Oh, thank goodness. Dave, we will be happy to join y'all this weekend, and congrats on the new grill from Hearth and Patio. My wife said she would bring potato salad.
Hearth and Patio invites you to elevate your grilling game this year with one of their amazing grills from Fire Magic, Broil Master, or Blaze Grills. Call them today, 850-727-4282. That's 850-727-4282, or visit them online at hearthpatiotallahassee.com. Hearth and Patio, making barbecues great in the Sunshine State.
Honey, Dave said no raisins in the potato salad this time.
Call them today, 850-727-4282. That's 850-727-4282, or visit them online at hearthpatiotallahassee.com.
There's fun to be had every night at the Corner Pocket. Take-home prizes on Trivia Tuesdays and Beer Bingo Thursdays. And kickstart your weekend with Martini Fridays. Plus, happy hour runs every weekday and game day specials every time the Noles take the field. Watch all the best games at the Corner Pocket's Vegas Wall, featuring 560 inches of flat-screen TV heaven.
Oh, really?
The best food, the best drinks, and the best place to watch all the games. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
Coming up next, more of the Jeff Cameron Show. Live and local on Real Talk 93.3. WVFT, Greta, Tallahassee. The latest betting odds and line movements from Vegas. This is your action update. Now here are your latest lines from our guys in the desert.
Hideki Matsuyama and Russell Henley, the 20-1 co-favorites, win the Wyndham Championship with the Sedgefield Country Club in Greensboro. Siwoo Kim, Soon Jae Im, 22-1. NASCAR Cup Series this week, Denny Hamlin plus 650 with the Firekeepers Casino 400. At the Michigan International Speedway, manufacturer prop bet on the board, Chevrolet the favorite plus 140, Toyota plus 155, Ford plus 255. The NFL Hall of Fame game kicks off the preseason today with the Jets and Browns at Tom Benson Hall of Fame Stadium. Jets a 1.5 favorite. Get your free VSiN subscription right now at VSIN.com. For more sports betting news and information, go to VSIN.com. Mike Sennett, Real Talk 93.3.
Every piece of land has a story. The Upshaw's right there is with a John Deere 1 Series tractor they call Penny.
When your project comes up, you have to just jump in and figure out what is it going to take.
From front loader to backhoe, the Upshaws have the tools to DIY all day long. Run with us on a 1 Series tractor and start telling your story. Get $1,000 off a 1025R tractor and 0% APR fixed rate for 60 months. For additional cost information, please call toll-free 855-633-2315.
This your captain. Better buckle your seatbelts for this one. I saw my passport expired, so I went to Staples, got a passport photo lickety-split. While I was there, I grabbed some tiny travel soap and shampoo. I should have got some for my co-pilot. Just kidding, Brad.
Staples has everything for travel. 10-minute passport photos, luggage, headphones, even personal travel items. And now at Staples, get $10 off your purchase of $30 or more when you buy a travel service. Staples, your first stop to nonstop travel. Ends 9/16. In-store only. Exclusions apply.
If you've been considering getting a new hot tub or upgrading your existing hot tub, now's the absolute best time to do it. Hot Spring Spas has the jets on full blast, and the prices right now have never been hotter. You can find huge savings at Pinch a Penny Pools and Spas, and we mean huge. For a limited time, you can get up to $5,000 off in instant discounts and rebates, plus 60 months no interest financing for qualified buyers. You heard that right, $5,000 in discounts. And that's not all. When you buy a hot spring spa from Pinch a Penny Pools and Spas, you'll get a free consultation to determine the best placement in your yard for installation, a free accessory of your choice, and install can be completed in just a matter of days. It's the most aggressive rebate program that's ever been available to buyers from Hot Spring Spas. So stop by Pinch a Penny Pools and Spas on Greer Road today to check out their 12,000 square foot showroom with over 50 hot tubs on site. If you're ready to relax, Pinch a Penny Pools and Spas is ready to show you how.
When your AC unit decides to give up the ghost, it doesn't always pick the best time. But no matter what time, day or night, or day of the week, you can call E&B Heating and Air Conditioning. We'll be out to bring your AC unit back to life. We've been repairing and replacing heating and air conditioning systems in the North Florida and South Georgia area since 1974. So when your air conditioner stops working, call E&B Heating and Air Conditioning to the rescue.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
Broadcasting live from Florida's capital city, this is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness on Real Talk 93.3. Now, stop what you're doing and listen closely. It's time for the Jeff Cameron Show in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
That is, will be in the mornings next week. This week, it's in the afternoon from like 4 to 6.
Yeah, that's today, tomorrow, and Saturday. They break Sunday and switch to mornings next week.
You know, interestingly enough, as excited as we might be about the return of practice, and we are, I would say that today is a useless kind of day for practice. They don't do a damn thing. Nothing's going to happen. Nothing of any interest.
Well, it's first impression day. This
Yeah.
is new freshmen.
It's about how they look body-wise.
gym.
Right, yeah. That's really what today is.
Who's in a, who can't participate that we can't talk about. Honestly.
Well, yeah, it depends, right? If it's an injury situation, obviously you got to be careful. If somebody
who's on the bike, oh no, it's that
Moses
kind of
McCray somewhere right now.
He's listening.
Go tell it to Moses McCray. I had a good conversation with EJ Manuel today.
Yes, you did, and I was wondering if that was Horowitz the host.
Yeah.
Was he contentious at all about Florida State?
He wasn't.
Oh, that's funny because driving into the office, he very much was. So,
How
about that?
They were still talking about it?
Yeah.
Well, they've been talking about the same thing everybody's talking about, which is conference realignment. Their point is somewhat all of our points. It's, hey, man, this is not ideal. All of this moving around and the dissolving of a conference and all, that's not ideal. It's not what anybody would want. It's just our reality, and you can't ignore that. You can't stick your head in the sand. You have to continue to cover it and kind of try to find out what you can about the whys and hows and how it's going to end. I mean, this is what you have to do, but you don't have to like it. And I don't think many college football fans like it at all. I would say overwhelmingly so. People are not happy with what's happened to college football. This is a little bit like the beginning stages. Like I think about when your friends' parents went out of town and trusted them to hold it down. So at first it's awesome. It's like, oh, mom and dad are gone. We're having a big party. People are coming over. This is going to kick ass. Nobody to say no. We can do whatever we want. But if mom and dad don't come back on Monday when they're supposed to, you want people to get the hell out of your house, and I want some order restored. This is ridiculous. There are people I don't even know sleeping on the couch. And if they're not back by Friday, they may be dead. Everybody's running around panicked.
Boy, you did grow up pre-cell phones, didn't you?
There was no chance. You didn't know where anybody was. This isn't good, man. I liked it the first 48 hours. Mom and dad in this scenario are the NCAA. They haven't mattered in the last 2 to 3 years. And the kids have gone crazy. They're burning down the house. And nobody's telling them to stop. The NCAA, or in this case, mom and dad, need to get home. They got to boot Bobby the hell out of here. This is pissing me off. He's a terrible kid. I didn't realize it till he was left to his own devices for weeks on end. This is where we're at. And it's all been burned to the ground because there's been no leadership. There is no czar. There is nobody to say, whoa, this is not good. This is not a good idea for college football, everybody. The very thing that made us unique is what we're getting rid of. This isn't cool. We're no longer collegial. This is professional football. And you know who does professional football well? Professional football, the NFL, which already exists, does it better than we can do it. But it also doesn't do you any good to pretend it didn't happen. So you have got to get with the getting. And with the getting is getting out of here. You got to leave, and we know it. And we're screaming it from the mountaintops. We hate it here. I don't like this neighborhood. I would like to leave. And the other people in the neighborhood are like, well, fine. You should just leave. We never liked you anyhow. This is our beautiful neighborhood. Your neighborhood sucks, and we want out. Good luck. Have fun living in this dump of a town. We're out of here.
South Bend.
And they don't like it. They don't like it. They don't want to be told their neighborhood sucks. They don't want to be told that we don't like it here. You may love it here, Duke. We do not. This is a wonderful neighborhood for you, Boston College. Boston College, you're on an hourly wage, sweeping floors. Your wife's a secretary. This is the best you're going to do. I get it. It's wonderful for you to be here. But not us. I'm a doctor. I can't be here. I want to live somewhere else. Suck it. This is it's a problem, and it's ugly, and it's back and forth. So
the only thing you guys have done around here is attach a 7,600-page HOA agreement.
And Mary comes over here checking the length of my grass every day. I'm going to kick her in the face the next time she does it. I'm tired of this. This is what are we going to do?
Poor Mary. She's following orders.
I hate Mary. And I'm going to leave where there are no Marys. We are going to get somewhere else, and they're not checking my grass or my mailbox or my fence or my hedges. None of it. If I want to grow them from here to down the street, I'm going to. We'll see. It is funny to watch, though. It's the pushback, the anger, the frustration, the feelings that are hurt by all this is interesting. I don't, again, a lot of the anger, most anger is oftentimes born out of fear. I think there's a real fear that those schools in much of the triangle, certainly, and those schools within the ACC, those other schools that have really had some ugly things to say, they fear that another chair is going to be occupied. There's only so many chairs, and we're about to take one, and people don't like it.
Well, and the reason, it's tough because you put on the alumni hat, you put on the college football fan hat from your childhood, and then you put on, what would you say, a sports business hat? If you look at what college football is as a product, if there is no czar to be a barrier between the sport and the television networks, this is too valuable a property to the television networks. Nobody watches live television if it's not sports. Nobody's tuning in to American Idol for the American Idol used to be the biggest thing when I was in middle school and
I
high
never
school.
understood that either, but okay, yes.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Survivor, all those things. Who Wants to Be a Millionaire?
Generation of adults.
Right. Yeah. And you would set your watch. TiVo wasn't a thing. Then TiVo happened, then DVRing, then streaming services, and now I can watch that show whenever I want to watch it. The only thing we feel we're missing out on is sports. We can't. If people decide that they can tape games and watch them later, then the networks might as well just fold. There's no point. There's nothing valuable anymore. But college football is the second most valuable product to the NFL. So the networks are going to do what they're going to do because they've got to continue to survive. There's a desperation from them. And there is no czar or commissioner of college football to protect the sport. That's how it's getting there. The product is too good. It's too much in demand.
I don't let it affect me personally. Other people, I think you see, they are affected personally. It's fascinating to watch that. Like, they're very personally aggrieved. They're mad. They're mad. And I want to say to them, what is wrong with you? Ordinarily, you're completely rational. There have been some guys that are on this beat that cover the ACC, whom are knowledgeable and interesting and good guys and family guys and, just fun to talk to when we go up to Charlotte and interesting. And they've said crazy stuff this week. And I want to say, how are you in your feelings about a team wanting to leave? Why?
No, there's obvious reasons to care.
Well,
if you're on an ACC beat and the conference isn't going to exist anymore, then sure.
Yeah, but you're also on a team beat, so you're going to cover that team regardless.
Yeah.
Now, it may not be as lucrative as you'd like it to be.
The circulation going to go down a little bit.
You might end up, having to talk about the big matchup with Old Dominion. But
here come the Ohio Bobcats.
Yeah. No. Gainesville, no, I know it affects their future. I get that part of it. But when they lash out at FSU and don't look at it as anything more than a business decision being made, and instead take it personally as if they're being rejected, like FSU is a person who's telling them, I think you're ugly. What do you think of that? What do you think about that? I think you're ugly. And I don't like your personality.
Yep, I said it.
There you go.
What you gonna do?
Get you some of that. Yeah. And tomorrow I'm going to come here and tell you again that I think you're ugly. If you don't like it, stop showing up. I'm going to tell you every day because I hate you. That's the way they take it.
No disrespect, of course.
None taken. But it's not that. It's a program. It's a program saying we want to compete for national titles, and we can't. Unfortunately, college football is changing. Maybe not for the better, but it is changing, and we seek to compete at the highest levels. So if we want to do that, we can't remain here. Now, if the ACC had figured this out years ago and gotten out in front of it, instead of having Swofford celebrate all things about middling basketball, then, maybe we would be in a different position. If the mandate had gone out earlier that, hey, guys, in the future, football's driving this bus, baby. It's not basketball. The tournament's nice. We all love the tournament. But football's driving the bus. So get with it. Rip up that stupid track around your football field and let's go. Build a real stadium. Celebrate all things football. Cheat a little bit. Do something to get your programs where they can compete at the highest levels, because we've got to get good at football. And it can't just be Florida State and Clemson. We need everybody to be committed dollar-wise. I'm not saying Florida State's been great every year they've been in the ACC, but they've done their share. They've done their part. I'm frozen with an angry look on my face.
You are. At least the sound's coming through okay, though.
Yeah. Well, we'll take a quick break. I can't have that look of consternation on my face. It's the pondering of Mary looking at the grass.
I think you're choosing between, on a Sunday morning, do I read the sports section or the college football section? What's it going to be?
Those bums in the triangle are pissed. Freeze them.
We got him.
Freeze him with that look of frustration on his face.
This one's for Swaffy.
I'll go get a cup of coffee because I drink too much coffee, and I'm going to do it right now. Jeff Cameron Show 93.3. It does not, Ian. It does not look like Mitch McConnell. That's funny. You're relating to the frozenness, which made me laugh too, because he's an awful man.
Our pal Bill says this should be your credential photo now.
I sent in, hey, really quickly, while you watch the Frozen Me, I sent in a credential years ago where they wanted pictures to use for their credential. Here, hey guys, there you go. There I am. It was a picture of me smoking a cigar with a beer in my hand just to see what they would do. I wanted, on my media placard, I wanted me smoking a cigar with an IPA in my hand because it's a good representation. And they wrote back, we can't use this. And I was like, oh, sorry.
They wrote you back?
Yeah, they were like, we can't use this. I was like, oh, it's a great picture.
You know what you can always use?
Zaxby's.
That's right.
Big ass sandwiches. Tasty as all get out. The pickles, the split top bun. 46 Zaxby's in Tallahassee. Oh, this is fun. We're having this is a great day. So here, hey everybody. It's not good for our radio audience who don't know what I'm doing. Oh my goodness gracious. This is a fun camera angle. Here you go, everybody. Hey, take a look around the room. You want me to stand up? It's Jeff Cameron Show 93.3, Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV. Go get you some Zaxby's.
A bed of Zaxby's crinkle fries, hand-breaded chicken, hardwood smoked bacon, and buttermilk ranch. It's the perfect comfort food. Pillow sold separately. Chicken bacon ranch loaded fries. Woo, saucy!
Siri, tell me a joke. The past, present, and future walk into a bar. It was tense.
All jokes aside, the trained professionals at Mac & More Systems are serious about Apple products. For all your Mac repairs, call Mac & More Systems at 894-3622. 894-3622.
When you need a plumber quick, how long is an acceptable time to have to wait?
Yeah, hey, it's the Millers again. Just calling you about our little plumbing problem.
2 hours?
Hey, we were hoping you can get here soon because the water is getting really bad. I mean, please hurry.
4 hours?
I know you said you were on your way, but, honey, tell the kids to drink water.
8 hours?
Don't worry about us. We're fine.
At M&L Plumbing, you'll never have to wait long for quality, dependable service, right when you need it. At M&L Plumbing, we listen to our customers, and our qualified technicians aim to achieve 100% customer satisfaction. So the next time you need plumbing work or repairs, think of the name M&L Plumbing, your local plumbing experts, commercial or residential. Give us a call, 850-575-9393, or visit us online at mandlplumbing.com. M&L Plumbing, for all of your plumbing needs.
There's no doubt that buying a home can feel overwhelming, especially if it's your first home. You're worried about location, school zones, square footage, inspections, insurance, loan approvals, interest rates, and of course the price. Buying a home could be the most significant investment you've ever made. But there's good news. You have our friends at Legendary Home Loans, and they're on your side and in your corner. They're going to go to bat for you. Shannon Young from Legendary Home Loans can help first-time home buyers get up to $25,000 for your down payment. For first responders, veterans, teachers, military, and healthcare workers. And that's not all. Shannon is an expert navigator of the home loan terrain, and you can trust that he's going to get you the most competitive interest rates and guide you through the process every step of the way. Plus, Shannon will also get your closing costs reduced. It's the Hometown Heroes program at Legendary Home Loans. Give them a call today, 844-FSU-LOAN. That's 844-FSU-LOAN. Or go to FSUHomeLoans.com and ask for Shannon Young.
NMLS number 2270146.
Discover seasonal sensations full of passion and flavor at Café de Martín and El Bar, a one-of-a-kind culinary and cocktail concept created by classically trained chef Martín Araujo. This summer, escape to your own Peruvian paradise in the capital city and experience handcrafted, colorful, refreshing cocktails like the Chilcano de Maracuyá, made with authentic pisco, mixed with lime juice, passion fruit, a splash of ginger ale, and bitters. Or enjoy a classic pisco sour made from grapes produced in the nutrient-rich lands of Peru. At Café de Martín and El Bar, everything is handmade from fresh ingredients con amor y pasión, with love and passion. From the moment you open the doors, you're immersed in the culture and transported to Tallahassee's only upscale Peruvian culinary experience, full of surprises with every dish and every drink. It's Café de Martín and El Bar on Capitol Circle Northeast in the Esposito Shopping Center. Open Monday through Saturday for lunch, happy hour, and dinner. Online at cafedemartin.com.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
Welcome back to the Jeff Cameron Show, sponsored by Legendary Home Loans, a mortgage experience designed around speed, simplicity, and customer service. Before you buy your next home, contact our friend Shannon Young with Legendary Home Loans. Visit FSUHomeLoans.com. FSUHomeLoans.com.
What's going to happen. Yeah, the very few people who have the power to make these decisions and maybe have already made these decisions, sitting back and watching this play out. What a fun time it is for them. You know, we've been in these, I remember, and this is a weird thing, but it's kind of hard to do. I remember when the Jameis Winston saga was playing out nationally. And Tom, you can back me up on this. I had the answers to the quiz. I knew that the state attorney's office was not going to charge Jameis Winston with a crime.
For weeks.
It was a nightmare to know that. What I mean by that is I had the information from somebody in the state attorney's office. And I was asked not to share that. And the reason for it, this wasn't a conspiracy. The evidence pointed in that direction, and that's the way they were going to go. But they had to finish up doing some things, and I don't want to relitigate this. I'm just saying, when you're armed with that information and you're doing a daily talk show, it's tough.
Correct. You brought me in the inner circle on that one, I'd say with 2.5 weeks notice. And
Yeah.
it was trending that way. And I think with about 10 days notice, it was definite that that's where it was going to be.
It was one of those things where I wanted, because people were asking a lot of questions and people had theories and people were debating, getting into serious arguments about a lot of things. And I would listen to it and I'd be like, no, that didn't happen. You're wrong. And here's why, but I can't do it. Right. And so finally the day came and we were on the courthouse steps and I broke it on ESPN Sports Center. And there it was, right? We finally got to say our thing. Somewhere, somebody right now already knows the answers to the quiz. They know which teams are going where, they know why, they know when, and they know for how much. That's somebody knows. Now, there may be some nuance to this that they don't have pegged just yet, and there may be negotiations that still have to take place and certain contractual things that aren't completed yet. But by and large, there are a few people, television execs and the like, who already know what's going to happen or what is intended.
And that's why yesterday, when you see the report from Yahoo Sports talking about Oregon, Washington, perhaps going to the Big 10, Big 12 expansion, and Florida State's name is not caught up in that part of it. Could the Big 10 add 4 teams? And if they do, would Stanford and Cal be a part of that? Florida State and Clemson and any other ACC team cannot be a part of that article, because at that point, the Big 10 would open itself up to a lawsuit. That is fully off the record material if a reporter has it, but they might not even get that far. But I do find it interesting. And again, I'm not trying to throw a ton of credit his way, but when you've got a mouth breather SEC guy like Feinbaum, who has said no for Florida State and the SEC at every turn, having a 1-minute soundbite today that includes Greg Sankey can't say anything right now, but Florida State's home is likely, and then he has to steel himself, is the SEC.
No better fit was the word.
Right.
Was the sentence.
And look, they're not the only team that's mad at the ACC right now. It's a disaster. It's a mess. Interesting that whatever source, perhaps Sankey himself, would have you change your stance, wants to throw shade at the stability of the entire conference. That's not by accident.
Correct. Yeah, there's little doubt somebody as connected as he is had a conversation perhaps with the commissioner of the SEC who told him, stop saying that Florida State doesn't have a home. Because that's what he was
saying they're not fit for the SEC.
Well, he kept saying that repeatedly when he was asked, because that's a personal vendetta. Then somebody with real knowledge said, stop saying that. We'd love to have them. Shut up. But the idea, like whenever you get mad, whenever you're frustrated, when you're one of these people that are, taking the pot shots and saying this, just understand, man, there are bigger things at play here. And many of these things have already been decided.
And it doesn't feel like that's a real thing, if you haven't been in the middle of it. Again, I was not involved in the level that you were in knowing what was going to come down.
It was stressful as hell, man. Somebody just brought it up over here. It was very stressful.
Once I was brought into that, it wasn't long, but once I was brought into that circle, because we had to manage what we were saying every day. You just had to watch everything very, very closely.
And I would have been in huge trouble had I screwed that up.
Yeah. Right. So that would be why, somebody with an 8-second dump button should know these things.
Yeah.
But until you see what the machine is like, you don't really.
Well,
I'm not saying we should all be conspiracy theorists. I'm just saying that there are people who do know, and in most any circumstance, that are in a circle, small one.
Yeah, they all got the memo, Herb. That is correct.
Yeah.
You remember? It's just a movie, right? Okay, just understand it's just a movie. But you remember Oliver Stone's JFK, and do you remember when
back into the left?
Mr. Garrison goes to Washington, and Kevin Costner sits down and says, "That was well done."
Thank you.
And meets with you can call me Mr. X, Donald Sutherland. It's the best part of the movie, actually. That conversation, that 20-minute window vignette, if you will, where they're walking on the mall, and then they sit down and have the conversation, and he's like Black Ops, right? And he's telling him, the Kings are killed, Mr. Garrison. He does the whole speech, and it's really well delivered. I thought of that, like today, driving in, that he was explaining to him that he was flying back from Iceland and he'd already seen the headline. And he was saying, like, how is that possible? They already had who did it. They already had him, the whole deal. Now, that's a movie, but there are elements of truth to that kind of stuff, right? I mean, there are things we find out later on that are factual about
Tomorrow's
stuff like
news
that.
today.
Right, that kind of stuff, right.
Yeah.
So when things like this start to happen, I'm not saying that there aren't things that change outcomes or there aren't surprises, even for those people that are the higher ups of a network that are attempting to make this be what they want it to be, a cash cow. They too can be surprised. Presidents of schools and so forth can make decisions. By the way, the president can just straight up decide on his own.
Right.
This is what we're going to do.
Well, and these trustees, if you're talking about the Florida State Board or any other decision-making group that's a board, they have been through so many negotiations in their lives that they know negotiations can fall apart at the last second. That's just the truth. It's a truth of operating at a high level.
Right.
Talks can fall apart or they can come together at the last hour.
But when we have these discussions, I think it's fun to note that there are many more teams involved in all of this. Okay, so it's suffice to say that within the ACC, there are other teams who feel exactly as Florida State does. They're just willing to let Florida State be the mouthpiece because we, as I said yesterday and the day before, clearly we've said we'll lead the way. We'll be the villain. I don't care. We're not staying. What's the point? I'm not going to be quiet about it. We're not staying. That's it. All right, so we'll be the villain. But there are plenty of teams, and now ESPN and others have all noted that. All of their personalities have said as much. They get it. They got the memo. Somebody was told, here's the deal. Okay, got it. But let's not forget, Notre Dame is involved in a lot of ways with the future plans of the Big Ten. All right?
Yeah. And do you think if they were tied to the ACC right now because the contract says that they must join the ACC if they join a conference, you think if that provision did not exist, they would still be here in all sports but football? Or do you think they would have already joined the Big Ten by now?
They would have already joined the Big Ten by now. I think. Listen, they're in a situation where their ratings were not nearly as good over the last 5 years as they used to be. They also had they not got a handout from the ACC, which was not money monetarily, but rather hey, come on in, guys. We'll let you schedule all our teams because you're not in the conference and you don't have anybody to play in a COVID year, so you can come on over here. That was dumb. We got used and then laughed at. But nonetheless,
then you also saw how small Notre Dame's share is. You
right.
know, it was like we get to divvy it up amongst the ACC members. Big windfall for us. Yeah, not really.
Not really. So you end up with a situation where you got to think outside of this room. You got to think outside of this conference. You got to think about the chess pieces. You got to think about the big picture college football super conferences that we're invariably headed to. And it's hard for people to do that. A lot of times they don't want to take that step back and be like, well, this thing I cherish is just going away. It's just dissolving right before my, yeah, it is. It's happening. And I don't like it either. Right. I wish it weren't happening, but it is.
And if you were in the seat of a member of the board of trustees at Florida State or the president's seat at the university, and you're saying, how do I solve for Florida State's future? You've got to know that the present time that you're in is already dead.
Right.
You know,
like looking at a star, right?
That's what, yeah, exactly. You know, this is what we said to the ACC teams 6 months ago when we first really started ratcheting up these conversations. You're dead already.
You just don't
know it yet.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Florida State, if you want to use another movie, it's V for Vendetta.
Great movie.
I killed you 10 minutes ago while you slept. That's what we've been doing for the last year. We've been planning. And look, it still might cost us.
Oh,
but
yeah.
The
I don't think we're
going to outweigh the costs.
I don't think we're going to get out of this scot-free. I think there is a price to pay. We're trying to figure out how to obviously navigate all of that. How best to navigate all that. Who's going to help? Is it the network? Is it the network and the conference?
And hey, could we so much discontent or bring the truth to light so clearly that other teams leave in droves and then we don't have to pay? But I don't think that's plan A. I think that's the pie in the sky plan.
Well, I think it's a
lead
worthy
for-
plan because they saw the Big 12 was willing to be aggressive.
Yeah. No,
So you had to reach out to these other schools that aren't going to get the invite to the SEC or the Big 10 and say, yeah, Big 12's looking good for you.
it's not the plan, the whole plan, and nothing but, we have to leave for free. It's
Right,
like, if we can do this and navigate this to where we
That'd
just
be
dissolve
great.
this puppy.
Free's good.
Free is much better than having to pay. But if we
Yeah.
got to pay, we'll pay.
You're going to give me the steak for free? Really? Oh, all right. I like that. I like the sound of that there, pal.
If I have to pay for it, but you're telling me subsequent meals are free, then I guess I'll pay a lot for this steak.
Yep.
All right.
Don't overcook it. But yeah, that's it's fascinating. Like that, you got to think big picture here. What's happening with the Big 12? What's happening with Oregon and Washington? Likely to the Big 10 now. We kind of felt that way maybe a year ago. I mean, we were having these discussions a long time ago when Southern Cal and UCLA were grabbed by the Big 10, and when Texas and Oklahoma were grabbed prior by the SEC. This was always going to happen.
This is probably the most interesting future of all to solve for, like our friends do at ISF.
Well done.
But
well done.
I have to say that the Big 10, it's been tied to in all these articles. It could be on Yahoo, ESPN, The Athletic, wherever you want to look for conference realignment news. The Big 10 doesn't want to be the one to issue the death blow to the Pac-12. And I've always said, why? What does it freaking matter? You already poached USC and UCLA. What do you care?
Appearances.
More than that. If the Big 12 can deliver the death blow to the Pac-12 in the next 24 hours, which it looks like it may very well, the Big 10 then believes it won't be sued by the remaining teams in the Pac-12. And that's why they're being so careful not to poach Oregon and Washington immediately following grabbing Oregon, USC and UCLA.
It's the only reason the SEC hasn't grabbed Clemson and Florida State and maybe North Carolina and Virginia for that matter.
That's the following the money.
Nobody wants to get sued.
Is that the Big 10 does not want to get sued over the Pac-12 crumbling. Now,
Tom, it reminds me of compensation studies.
That's correct. We should always study compensation.
Like, for example, the way ISF did with the Florida Guardian Ad Litem office that we love.
We love those folks.
We do.
They do great work.
ISF provided a detailed study of compensation among the office agency peers. Through this study, ISF's recommendations, the Florida Guardian Ad Litem office was better able to carry out their mandate to represent vulnerable children in court and in the community at large. It's a good thing. Now we're doing our own compensation study right here. And we determined some time ago, it ain't enough.
And how do we get more of it?
It ain't enough. We got to ride. And now it's gotten contentious. It's gotten to where, if you're Jim Phillips in the ACC, I mean, Jim's just doing what Jim's got to do. It's say things like, we're really good at tennis. And, that's great, Jim. Appreciate you. Practice your speech next time.
Sometimes executives just play out the string.
Oh, he's getting paid handsomely.
Yeah, I think it's, well, what's going to happen is
Don't you love when those characters in movies where they already know the ending and they're just whistling past the graveyard, I believe it's called. That's my man every day riding into work. He's just getting paid. Jim, do something. Oh, there's nothing to do.
What am I supposed to do?
It's already been done, guys. Wake up.
Oh, that's when the score in the movie turns nasty and cold.
Yeah. James B. writes, does this current realignment talk in some way make winning this season even more important? Do you think we look stupid and petty if we don't meet expectations? Well, I don't think we will. Thanks, James B. I appreciate it very much. Thanks, buddy. No, it would behoove Florida State to continue to win and elevate yet again the brand and remind everybody just how valuable they are. It's easier to sell it when you're winning 10 and 11 games and you matter and you're in the top 10 and perhaps making the college football playoff. But I don't think that Florida State would look stupid. They're still going to want out of this conference, whether they go 5-7 or undefeated. I mean, they got to go one way or the other. They're to that end. No. Now, people will take pot shots if there's a lack of on-field success. They'll continue the narrative of who do you think you are? It's already a foolish narrative. The numbers tell us who we are.
I am.
The numbers tell us who we are. Incredibly valuable. I had a friend text me who said, what if we don't have a home? I didn't like the tenor of that text. I texted back, buck up, soldier. We're Florida State. We're the MF Steelers of college football. We'll have a home. So
yeah, the only place that I think they can look silly or dumb or stupid or whatever would be is if there's no resolution before August the 16th of this year. Because I just don't understand why there would be so much bravado and bluster right now. You could have waited until a board meeting next month if you weren't thinking of acting right here, right now. I get that there's a pinch point coming for the rest of the country, and perhaps you want to put yourself in a position in the middle of that firestorm. Like, I get that logic, but you can do that with an appearance on Warchant TV, like was done on Monday. You don't have to have every trustee decide to get their 90 seconds to 2 minutes to go on a diatribe of how it's not you, it's us, ACC. We need to do better. Like, I don't understand why you would force the issue. Have the president go on the record.
If you weren't going to in the immediate future, right?
Yeah.
Right. I agree with that. I think that if they did that with no intention of actually being out of here at the end of next year,
right?
Well, then that's odd.
You just do it next month because the deadline would have already passed for the 2024 season.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of odd.
Yeah.
Well, I said, I think I said it to you. I can't remember. I've done a lot of shows. But I said at some point yesterday that I wouldn't be surprised if Florida State did something, made an announcement of significance before that date.
Right, of course. Yeah, the deadline's the 15th. Doesn't mean that's the only day you can file. It's not National Signing Day.
No, you might do it, let's say, a week from tomorrow.
Okay. That seems awfully specific.
You might do it a week from tomorrow. You might. You might do that.
Why would you want a Friday evening news dump, though?
You gotta let some folks take the weekend to think about their futures.
Well, yeah. There's three possibilities here. This is the easiest way to put it. Number one, they're straight bluffing, which would be the cojones move of all time. If you got nothing and this is what you're doing?
Yeah, I don't think that's the move. I don't think that's the play.
Number two, you have at minimum one option, and that option is you could act on it today if you wanted to. That's option two. Option three,
not without getting sued, but yeah,
is that you've got a choice or a prospect, but you're just trying to create the best deal for yourself in the meantime. That's why you're being loud while you also have a place already that you can go to.
Yeah, it's like one of those job while you have a job. Yes,
right. And maybe I could find a third opportunity over here.
Yeah.
Like, that might be the most likely scenario, but it's one of those three, and one of them's a bluff, a straight bluff. And so many in the triangle believe it's a straight bluff.
Well, they want to believe that. Doesn't make it so. I say this all the time about a lot of things. I'm not going to get into it, but people want to believe a lot of things, Tom. Doesn't make it so. And I think in their case...
Dinosaurs.
Those bones were planted. We'll leave it there. ISF, solving the future. We love working with our friends at ISF. Great collaborators and partners of the Jeff Cameron Show, and they're nationwide, man. From little old Tallahassee, kicking ass nationwide. That's a good thing. Find out more, ISF.com. Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Your local news now.
The Georgia Bureau of Investigation is handling an investigation of a shooting that took place Wednesday afternoon in Thomasville. The shooting took place in the area of Old Albany Road and Meadow Street, and an officer was involved. TBD says it is a serious situation that requires a detailed and thorough investigation. The police department also said that they are asking citizens to allow investigators to fully examine the incident before drawing conclusions about the event or spreading rumors without factual backing. New federal energy efficiency regulations that went into full effect Tuesday. The rules establish strict new efficiency standards for light bulbs used in homes and businesses, and bans the manufacture and sale of those that don't meet those requirements. Practical incandescent bulbs can't meet those standards, neither can halogen bulbs. Rules also ban imports of less efficient bulbs. The rules do not affect bulbs that you already own. They also exempt special purpose incandescents such as those used inside ovens. This is Rachel Anay with your Real Talk 93.3 local news update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at MacklemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. Chance for scattered storms this afternoon. Otherwise, sunshine mixed with clouds at times. Daytime highs approaching 94. Winds out of the southeast around 5 miles per hour. Partly cloudy skies tonight. Chance for scattered storms. Lows dip down to about 76. Chance for scattered storms again tomorrow. High temperatures reach up to 94. A blend of clouds and sun. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, 95.
What do you need tires on? Your car or truck, tractor or heavy equipment? At Nice Tire and Auto Service, we have tires for all of these needs. And we service your vehicle from air conditioning and computerized alignment to oil changes and everything else under the hood. Call Nice Tire and Auto today at 574-4100. That's 574-4100 for your scheduled maintenance. National accounts welcome at Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, just west of Capitol Circle.
My man, Eddie.
Jeff, what's happening, dude?
Bears eating people all over the place. I read another article today. It's the third one in the last month of somebody getting mauled to death by a bear.
Man, bears have their own space.
Well,
you got to let them have that.
You do. You got to stay clear of bears, is what you're saying?
Yes.
I got a question for you. Here you go. If you had to be mauled to death, eaten alive by any animal in the world, which would you choose to eat you alive?
Ooh, I think maybe I'd want, I don't know, longevity time, a mouse.
Just a slow burn.
Slow little burn.
This thing just finished the pinky. It's been a month.
I could go to work. I could still do my thing. I could probably live 30 years.
I thought you were going to say great white because it'd be quick, or a grizzly. We went with mouse.
Yeah, mouse.
Okay. Mouse it is. Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
The Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness. 2 Tallahassee locations, Midtown on Thomasville Road and Northside in the Village Common Shopping Center. Online at Orange.
There's all of that.
Better get on going over to his house at some point.
Yeah, before he gets fired. Maybe things will work out. Maybe things will work out. Hey, let's do this thing. You got to show me what we're doing here. I like this. A little behind the scenes action here. This is all the benefits of being a Warchant subscriber, right? If you're watching right now, you can look along with me. You'll see Garnet and Gold, 10% off, special Warchant Days promos each month with exclusive offers for Warchant.com members, priority access and free gear at Warchant events. That's doing some things, right? Got to do it. Ask Warchant anything, subscriber-only shows featuring the entire staff, a little Q&A with the entire staff, and coming soon, a new mobile app with improved functionality and less ads. That's really a good thing. Join the largest FSU fan community on the internet, everybody, at warchant.com. It's not close. Let's go. Get it on. Sign up today at warchant.com. What are you waiting on? Go do it. Go do it. The number one thing you're looking for today at practice is how big is so-and-so? That's the answer.
Yeah, there are a couple of freshmen that I want to see. Conrad Hussey being one of them. I was listening to some of the videos that we put together yesterday. Corey did an interview with Coach Surtan and getting a rundown on the defensive backfield and who's going to play where. Kevin Knowles is going to be a combo nickelback and safety, which stands to reason. That makes sense. If Greedy Vance is going to lock it down, you got to find some stuff, a place for him. And Knowles is up to 190 pounds, according to Mike Norvell, so that's more of a safety frame. But who is going to be somebody that steps up in that safety rotation? Because that's only 3 now. If you've got Akeem Dent, Shaheem Brown, and then Kevin Knowles, all right, that means a freshman has a chance to go get some serious reps.
And we like one of the freshmen to do that.
We like KJ Kirkland. I think Quindarius is more of a corner.
Yeah, KJ is a huge kid. He's already bigger than Kevin Knowles, but I would say that he's also a kid who projects down the line. Dare I do it again, everybody? He may be a linebacker. Well, I'm just saying.
And if not, he could be an heir apparent to Shaheem because it fits in that more physical kind of safety role.
Shaheem's going to have a good year, everybody.
But I do want to see what Conrad Hussey looks like, because the scuttlebutt around his recruitment in high school and when he finally did choose Florida State after some hemming and hawing was, there's a candidate to play early. Not every kid is a candidate, quote unquote, to play early, but Conrad Hussey was.
You know what's awesome about Conrad Hussey? His name. That's freaking awesome. You got to be good at something if your name is Conrad Hussey. You got to be a really good basketball player, football player, tennis player, you name it, hockey player. Let's hope football player in this case. But it's a great name. All right, let's do this thing. Let's thank our friends over at Power Mill, powering performance, equipping your student, athlete, child, motivating them, giving them skills, specific tools to succeed. That's what you want to do. 27 alumni came from Power Mill that are in the major leagues now. That's doing some things. 45 years of experience. Check them out, powermillsports.com. Cue it up, baby.
It's time for, how you say, with the pitching, probables?
Man, Kansas City's jumped all over the Mets to start the day.
Who hasn't?
The White Sox lead the Rangers 3-1. Tuki Toussaint on the hill for the White Sox. Max Scherzer getting his first start for the Rangers, and he's doing terribly. Mets Royals 3-0 Royals. Carlos Carrasco, Brady Singer. Orioles Blue Jays warming up. Jack Flaherty, only Flaherty. Kevin Gausman going for the Blue Jays. We've got the D-backs and the Giants. They too are warming up. Brandon Pfaadt. Scott Alexander. Astros, Yankees, Christian Javier, Clark Schmidt. Pirates, Brewers, Mitch Keller.
Not just screwing Mitch Keller.
Well done. Adrian Hauser goes for the Brewers. By the way, Mitch Keller this year, 9-7 with a 3.9 and 145 strikeouts. Good season for Mitch. Good going, Mitch. Twins, Cardinals, Sonny Gray, Matthew Liberatore. We are Liberty. Reds, Cubs, Luke Weaver, still in the majors. Still in the majors. Not sure how. Every time I look, Luke is getting lit up. But you go ahead, young man. That pension is vested. Jamison Tyon goes for the Cubs, former Pirate. Not any good anymore. I shouldn't laugh. The man had cancer. Good God, Jeff, get it together. Mariners, Angels, Brian Woo!
Really?
Yeah. And Shohei Ohtani. It's a matchup with Woo and Ohtani. It's going to be good.
Woo!
I like it. Shohei's still good at baseball. A's, Dodgers, JP Sears, Julio Urias, Phillies, Marlins. The game's already over. What happened? They played? 4-2. Philadelphia getting it done today, folks. Michael Lorenzen went for the Phillies, and Johnny Cueto still in the majors.
Probably a lot skinnier than Jared Lorenzen is Michael.
Jared Lorenzen's dead, isn't he?
No.
Yeah, I think he's fat ass died. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, man.
You're out there making fun of a man who's dead. Tom.
You certainly seem to embrace the opportunity to remind me.
Yeah. Johnny Cueto went for the Marlins, and that is a look at those that shall reside on the bump. Go check and see. I think Lorenzen's dead. I have death radar. I know when people are dead, man. I'm telling you now.
4 years ago.
Yeah, I knew he's been dead for a long time. Bill wrote, "The hefty lefty is indeed dead." Yeah, he's dead.
Man.
He is as dead as it gets. Yeah.
Goodness. Well,
he tried to make a comeback, and
that seems like a binary distinction. I guess there's maybe brain dead, but
Briley, I'll make fun of myself when I'm approaching death's door. It's okay. I'm an equal opportunist. I think he's referencing me making fun of Mitch McConnell this week. Frozen Mitch. His new nickname. I was working.
It's like your computer screen.
Years ago, I was working at Clear Channel when they were known as Clear Channel before they screwed up radio. And, or as they were screwing up radio. And I was working late. I got off the air. It was past 6 or whatever it was. And there was a guy back in those days, real live people in the building, folks, at all times.
Lots of them.
Real talented people, too. And they did shifts on the radio. But Clear Channel saw into that and made sure they mass marketed with premium program, premium choice.
Premium choice.
Yeah.
Remember what iHeart was originally supposed to be? So iHeart was supposed
It was
to
a
be
streaming.
Yeah, it was supposed to compete with Pandora.
Yeah, that was the whole idea.
That was the
I was there on the
original.
meeting. I remember that. I can remember that being born in front of us. We were supposed to embrace it, that we could have some guy in Cleveland talking
Right.
about Tallahassee.
But also, this is going to be tell people to go to iHeart instead of Pandora.
Yeah.
We have the music.
Pandora's still better. But here you go. So anyhow, I got done with my shift. It was 6:00, and I went down to the kitchen, and I just have always drank a lot of coffee, and I was getting the night coffee because I like night coffee. And I went next door where this guy did the TNT, 94.9 TNT shift, the evening shift, okay? And this guy was older. He was an older gentleman. He had been rode hard and put up wet. My man had a life. Great voice. Smoking a pack a day. Was a mess. He had seen some things, Tom, one of those guys, right?
He lived his dream.
Like you could go in there and talk about Nam. So I went in there to say hello to him. I liked the guy. He was, he was a little out to lunch. He'd had a tough go. But I went in there. Dude was frozen. Same thing. Like Mitch, just frozen. Commercials weren't playing. Holmes was just frozen.
Really?
Yeah. Freaked me out. I thought he was dead. And
that's spooky.
Yeah. And I won't say his name, but I went in there and I was like, let's just say his name was Larry. Larry, you got to hit the spots. Larry's just frozen. And I was, damn, Larry's dead. What do I do? I was going to call 911. And then I walked over there and shook him. Larry. He's like, oh.
Hopefully I don't do that at 6:30 tonight on Warchant TV, reacting to the first day of practice.
Off to practice we go. Don't forget to watch Warchant TV tonight. Fun show today, friends. Be well. Peace.